21st Century Entrepreneurship with Martin Piskarik.
Ridgell Media is a company that helps you cut through the digital noise. Our goal is, in short, to tie your spend back to revenue. Forget all the other smoke and mirrors. I am Kenny Ridgell. I founded Ridgell Media as a college student at College of Charleston. As a junior in college, I had the idea for an app. Told you happy hours, food specials, concerts, the things you care about in college. Through that, I got the opportunity to meet all these different business owners. I really dug my teeth in. I was a biochemistry major, so I approached everything from an analytical standpoint, using data to support all my ideas. I didn't have any agency background, so everything that I did had to make sense in a common sense basis of a business owner standpoint, not a marketing standpoint. So I kind of almost did everything from scratch, which from an agency standpoint looks like we may be a little different. But what that looks like is we have no retainers, we have no long-term contract. Everything we do is set up in the mindset of, we want you to be with us for 10 years. I always say we want to cheers in 10 years. So what we do is we come in, we look at your business, we break it down, reverse engineer it, figure out what the best custom plan is for you to spend your money efficiently. Obviously, there's a lot of ways to spend marketing dollars. There's a lot of ways to waste marketing dollars as well. What we try and do is cut through that digital noise, figure out where your customer is, make sure we target those people directly, and prove where you spent your dollars, how it got you an ROI. And through that, I sold the app, went all in on the agency. Forewent my degree in biochemistry. Obviously, as a marketing agency owner, I'm not using my biochemistry very much, but I do get to leverage the scientific experiment and the data aspect of it in terms of setting up tests, using the theory, and then just control variable, uncontrolled variable. How do we get input versus output, and what does that end up looking like in terms of dollars in your pocket as an owner? Given the fact that I'm an entrepreneur and almost an avid serial entrepreneur, started probably 5 or 6 other different companies, I have understood the wastefulness of resources, particularly monetary resources, is the number one thing that will kill your business. You cannot take something and spend money and not know where it goes. So I'll give it to you for an example. One of the companies I started, it was a trash company. We did valet trash, we did residential waste. What we really had to do was in terms of strategy and marketing manipulation, right? We couldn't run a social media campaign. We couldn't talk about all the people that we made happy. It didn't have the sexy appeal to it. Instead, what we had to do was make sure that every dollar we had as a scratchy startup, all of our money went into the trash cans and all the other materials. We had to make sure that whenever we bought a mailing list or we went around and we hung door banners on people's houses, that it actually worked. So we knew we wanted to talk to HOAs. We wanted to talk to people who are in charge of community guidelines. So what we did was we bought a list of anybody that was a HOA director or on a board. We began running ads directly to those people using programmatic advertising, and we started an email drip campaign. Anybody that were to click through those ads, we use a program called Go High Level. I'm sure people have heard of that. And our CRM, we leverage Stack Adapt, which is a programmatic ad buying service. You only have to spend, I think, $10,000 a month to be able to get on there. And you can upload your direct third-party list that you purchase on there. You can send them all, of course, direct hand mail you can as well. But right now, we ended up with 2,500 different names. We knew we could send them video ads, we could send them emails, we could send them text messages, we could send them direct mail into their hands. And we knew the only people that would get this ad, or the different multimedia types, would be those people, the 2,500 on that list. If any of them clicked, any of them called, anybody emailed us, we knew specifically which element they clicked on because we scrambled the numbers using a thing called CallRail. And that way, each program or campaign had its own unique identifier, so we knew exactly which one worked. After we did it once, we knew, okay, email was trash, the mailer was trash, our videos worked. Let's pivot to videos only, and let's make sure that all we're doing is all of our stuff should be really focused on video, because we're able to talk about the different advantages that we kind of run into a niche through this, right? Of retirement communities with people who didn't want to wheel their trash cans from behind their house to the front of the house. Through this, we understood we could charge a premium to move their trash can from behind their house to the road. So when we purchased our second list, we knew we only wanted to target retirement communities, HOA, different board members. So what we did there was we bought a secondary list. We went only retirement-based communities. We found that those are actually ran by boards. So we went and we found, hey, who's the chairman of the board? Who are the board members that are directors here? We purchased the same list and we repeated the campaign. And we saw an ROI, basically, I think it costs around $2,000 or $3,000 a month to run the campaign. Within 6 months, we roughly made around $100,000. So, right, we spent 10, we made roughly like 100. So it was a 10 to 1 ROI. We knew we didn't have any room to waste. We really didn't have really good margins. Trash is not a sexy business, and it's also not a high grossing business, it's a volume business. But in short, we were able to test our theory, run it out, and we knew exactly who our core customer was in terms of discovery and how to talk to them and how to get in front of them. So we went from 4 channels to 2 channels within like that 6-month period, and 10 to 1 our money. And thankfully it was my money I played around with and tested. But once we saw how it worked, we could basically take that same model and prove it with other people, which is kind of how I like to do it when we have a new strategy. I'll be the one who funds it, test it on a new company that I own, and then we'll say, okay, that worked. We can actually take this, rinse and repeat it in a different industry with a different company. So that way we're coming to you with proven methods and strategies rather than just testing with your dollar. So now that I've introduced a few of the tools that we just talked about in terms of AI, one of the things we look to do is create an ecosystem where we're refreshing data and putting new people in terms of that database or the list into our play. So long story short, back up, you got the EU laws, you got the privacy laws, you got America trying to stipulate Google and Facebook and Instagram and LinkedIn and all the access they have to our data. What they don't tell you is that the credit card companies, Experian, and all these other people online still have that data. They still do sell it, and there is still ability to buy it. So you got Data Axle, you got these third-party data management companies. StackAdapt allows you to interface with those. Basically, you have acquisition rights to the data to a certain point, right? You can buy up to 10,000 names on each list without paying any extra based on your ad spend. What you do is when you get into StackAdapt, you can actually link that same audience back into Facebook, back into LinkedIn, back into your different channels so that you're using really like an audience tool. I mean, it'll define down to specifically who is spending X number of dollars on this type of wine when they go out to eat, who's going to this type of 5-star luxury property, who's going to these different types of, who's using a plumbing material, who just actually bought a permit on their house, just closed on closing on a new home, got a mortgage on their house, any types of those timing related metrics. So if you're selling pools or appliances or any of those things, you can actually buy that list and then do the same thing I'm setting up here. You can also plug in something called Pearl Diver or 6 Sense. There are a couple of programs that will actually monitor anyone that searches, even if they don't come to your website. So say you're selling pools, somebody searches custom pool near me or luxury in-ground pool. Anybody who searches that or goes to your competitor's name, you can actually get their email and their phone number. That way you can call them if you want, or you can just plug it right into Go High Level, creating that ecosystem. Go High Level is going to start dripping them emails, dripping them text messages. You can actually have AI agents call them and try and schedule appointments. Hey, we saw you were searching for new pools today. Would you like to set up an appointment with our team to come by and look at and give you a free estimate? That way, you're quickly reacting. It's no manual work. You're going to be faster than your competitors. They never even have to find your ad. Obviously, pay-per-click's expensive. It might cost $5 to get to be first place. Now that you get first place, they click on your website. There's no chance they even give you their phone number. You could pay $1 basically. It costs like $500 for 1,000 names a month. So 50 cents a name, the first 1,000 names. And after that's $1. So you pay, right, the other one, you're getting phone numbers and emails of real customers in real time. Your bots are working for you, trying to schedule appointments immediately in real time, faster than your competitors. Like this person's actively searching. They could still be on your competitor's website. You're calling their phone. Like you're on it. Their phone number and email is getting dumped right into your audience on programmatic, which is now serving them video ads. Shoot, they're driving down the highway. It's called out of home. The digital billboards are switching. They're going up the mall escalator. The little thing that's changing next to them on the screens. They're on the golf cart. The screen that's changing there. Their cell phone. Any screen, we call it real estate, is being literally sold through all these streaming devices now. So, and that stuff is actually working off your device ID. OOH is the name of it, out of home advertising. But the best part is, we all know that stuff is like timing related, right? And like if I'm trying to buy a pool today, I don't need to get ads for a pool from 6 months from now. I just closed on a new home. I'm looking to buy the pool. I want to go and get started. If you advertise with me 6 months from now, it's too late. I've probably already bought. And at the end of the day, your data is your ads are only going to work as good as your data performs. So if you're refreshing it constantly with these tools, putting it into there, now you're targeting the programmatic advertising. You're hitting them when they're driving down the highway. You're hitting them in their golf cart. You're hitting them on the radio. Plus you're calling and emailing and texting them. You really got like a 15 to 20 day window. So we call it brand fatigue. You'll dump those old people out and you'll fresh new people in, and it's always replenishing itself with new prospects and new leads. And back to that, you're tying it in with CallRail to see what happens. There's another tool you can call, it's called Crazy Egg, that you can plug in, and it monitors all the traffic on your website. and it will tell you like hotspots. So it gives you almost like, say you fly over a city, where is everybody located? Where are all the heat maps? Where's the confetti of where they're all clicking? And instead of just telling you, hey, everybody's missing this section, it will actually redesign your site and send it to you for approval. So it's like, you need to put a button here. People are trying to click here. You need to change this article to here because more people are clicking on this article than this one. So it will automatically, using AI, refresh and reframe your entire website redesign based on how people are interacting. And it's cool because you can even screen record. So I can say Martin came on and he like looked at my website this way, and you could actually say, I want more people to interact like Martin, and it'll follow Martin around, and it'll basically say like, okay, he's clicked on these pages. Let's restructure the whole website to fit Martin, because we know that Martin bought the most expensive pool of all time. So we need to find more people like him. Whatever he liked, we need to show more of. In short, there's so many different AI tools that you can use, but just to name a few, that creates that ecosystem of like, or the wheel that is continuously evolving and bringing you new fresh clientele and data to the top of the funnel. So one of the things, this might sound a little bit like foreign to people who aren't in the marketing world, but one of the key things that we found with this type of tool is it does work a lot of times with people with disposable income. And at the end of the day, that's kind of helped us fine tune in our last decade of being in business who exactly our customers fit to be. And a lot of times, the easiest way to think of it is it's the end user, right? So you take this person who has disposable income, they have, excess capital, they might live a little bit of an opulent, lavish life. The way they're traveling, they're going to luxury hotels, they're going and playing nice golf courses, they're eating at nice fine dining restaurants, they're probably going to plastic surgeons, going to dermatologists, they're getting braces done, they're getting dentures and veneers. At the same time, they're getting new appliances put in their home, they're probably getting a new roof done, they're getting a pool done, they're heating and air, they're plumbing, and they're probably spending top penny dollar on all of it. They might be buying cars. But at the end of the day, we call it like our 3 H's. You got healthcare, so think private practice, that's all your specialists, because these people aren't going to be going to your general doctors. They're going to be paying for the high-end specialized doctors. Like, that's the type of person who has the income level to support that. You got hospitality, which is like what I talked about, the resorts, the like golf courses, the restaurants, and then you got home services. So that breaks down again into your pool, your appliances, your heating and air, plumbing. But really, those 3 customer bases really are selling to that high-end luxury customer. So it can tie into like some e-commerce situations. But at the end of the day, if you're trying to reach a high-end, high net worth, a little bit of free cash flow type of situation, and that's your core customer, then we are talking directly to those people. And the best part about it is we know how to find them, we know where they live, and we know what kind of like tools to use to track and find them. Because those are honestly the hardest people, because everyone's trying to market to them. Everybody knows they have free cash to spend. So there's a high dollar bid amount on this. So you could be spending $20, $25 a click for some of these like luxury 5-star hotel resort golf courses. Whereas the way I'm talking, you could buy that same guy's name and number and literally call him and offer him a package for $1. So at the end of the day, we know how to target these people at an affordable metric without wasting any of your money. And at the end of the day, these people will repeat. They come back. It's a lifestyle for them. It's not like a one-time trip. If you have excess capital, you're not a 5-day vacation kind of guy. You're a guy who's going on 5 or 10 week-long vacations a year. So just because you might miss them the first time, now you have their phone number and their email. You can put them in that campaign and keep that wheel going. Because at the end of the day, like the same guy who buys a new house, maybe the pool's not now because it's the middle of winter and it's snowing. But when it gets to be summer, maybe he's the pool guy. And so you can kind of seasonality tie in your different businesses and branches to exactly where it is. So if you look at a market where it's cold, we want to market that guy to go to a luxury like a Caribbean or a very coastal warm area. Whereas if it's a warm area where it's like 110 degrees, take a guy in Miami, it's like, okay, maybe we market him to go to Argentina and go skiing in the middle of July, because he's like, I want to go to Patagonia and I want to get to a better area. So you can kind of see the way these people move around the globe and what they're looking for and what they do. And we use all that data as an advantage for all of our customers. For example, if the guy's in Argentina and we know he's not at home, we probably don't need to be trying to sell him new appliances. So we're in a good way. We can kind of it sounds a bit stalkerish, but it's completely above legality. It's all like privacy laws. And the main thing to remember is this stuff is happening to you. Somebody's tracking you. Somebody's coming after you. You're either in the game as a business or you're out of the game. But all of us are in the game as a consumer. We're all being targeted. So you either might as well play the game to your advantage and try and make money from it, or you're really missing out on a huge opportunity. I have a 1-year-old daughter. I just recently got married. My dad, my uncle, my grandfather, we all like chased the American dream, moved here as capitalists. I'm only a second generation American. Basically, my dad was the first one in our family to ever graduate from college. He is a dentist. Obviously, that's why I want to be a dentist. My uncle sells insulation. My grandfather sold insurance. My father-in-law was a big, like a banker, private banker, finance guy. It's kind of in my blood, and everything that I've seen around me has been like kind of start businesses. And when I started that app in college, I really found that there's like this enterprise solution of like all these marketing tools and AI tools that say Nike and these huge Fortune 500 companies have access to. As a Main Street business owner who was selling to day-to-day normal people and dealing with 250, 300 regular business owners, we all felt lost in this like sea of everything that's going on. How do I make a decision? It changed so freaking fast. All your freelancers, if you like hire subcontractors, it was hard to maintain. You're trying to run your job. Like I wanted to run the app. My dad wants to like clean teeth and help his patients. He doesn't care about Facebook. He doesn't care about LinkedIn. All he wants to do is just treat patients. Just like everybody, all of us, we have a passionate thing we're subject to. We're driven to try and make whatever industry or whatever company we have better. It's our baby. My wife always jokes. She's like, look, you're dealing with people who are dealing with their babies. So at the end of the day, like my baby is my business, but really it became my baby because I wanted to help these Main Street business owners find a way to improve their lives. Like nothing makes you want to wake up more and get out of bed more than whenever you see your client go from like working in a 1-room shack with 2 employees to buying like a multi-million-dollar home, having 100 employees, having 75 trucks. Like I've seen clients go from 2 million to 20 million. Their entire lives change. Their freedom changes. Their entire aspirational goals of their lives change. Their kids go from being like inner city kids to like, now their aspirations of college and doctors and lawyers. And you see this entire just momentum change when you start seeing them believe in like what is happening. And that's what inspires me to get up. I don't want to work for corporate companies. I'm not looking to go work for Marriott. I want to work for like a boutique property who's like, I want to change my family's life and make an impact. And that at the end of the day is kind of what drives me to do what I do. I want to bring like enterprise solutions, Fortune 500 companies, and deliver that to like Main Street, of the world. How do I find these people all around the world who want to better their lives for themselves and their customers and deliver the best product so that not only can they deliver for themselves, but for their children, their future generations? Like I want my daughter to look at me and not be like, Dad made a bunch of money, but Dad made a bunch of people lives and their lives better. They made their companies better. And at the end of the day, like we're trying to make a difference. So like my whole motto and mission is like making a difference while making a profit. Of course, we still want to make a profit. You got to put your mask on first in the airplane when it's going down. So you got to still pay yourself. I'm not a nonprofit, but at the end of the day, like I'm not here for a long time. I'm not here for a short time. I'm here for a long time. That's why we came with I want to cheers in 10 years. That's why we don't do the retainer, why we don't do long-term contracts. We want this thing. If it doesn't work for you, I'll fire myself. But at the end of the day, the main thing to remember with all these different tools and everything talked about today is don't waste money. Make sure whatever you do in your marketing dollars comes back to you. It comes into your pocket. You have an ROI that's traceable. And I hope that one day I can either inspire you or help you achieve your goals as you're trying to make your family's lives better. And you want to change your generational wealth of like your entire like lineage. And that's why, that's what empowers me. And like, if you could probably hear the little passion in my voice, that's what makes me like want to get up and go and jump in the air. If you want to change your life, try and change your future of your entire family, you want to build generational wealth, go online, look at ridgemediallc.com. Again, that's ridgemediallc.com. You're going to schedule a call. It's going to be with me personally. I'm going to get on the call. I don't charge anything. I'm not going to do any consulting. I'm going to sit down with you. I really am genuinely interested in your company and how we can make your lives better, how we can improve your future generations, and how I can make an impact in your life. Looking for new friendships as well. Doesn't have to be all business. If you do want to look at my LinkedIn page is Kenny Ridgell out of Greenville, South Carolina. Ridge Media LLC is the name of the company. And my phone number is 864-354-6175. Again, that's 864-354-6175. Through that, you should be able to find a way to contact me. We're always available, working all the time. Look forward to hearing from you.
21st Century Entrepreneurship with Martin Piskarik.
Imagine a space where triumphs, trials, and tales of entrepreneurship come alive. Welcome to the 21st Century Entrepreneurship Podcast, a gold awarded journey hosted by Martin Piskarik, connecting with listeners in 95 countries. and ranking in the top 0.5% of all podcasts. Join our exclusive community, elevate your perspective, and embark on the path to success.